Hey Creed, can you take me higher?
Not much for a city boy, but the women I find in my sauce is soy. Can't call myself a countryman, cause I sit on my don't work my land. One of these days I'll give a damn. Till then, well, I am what I am. Just call me a New York redneck. Where's the banjo? Play that Bella Flag. Yeah, and I might be high class, but my liquor is more. They took my land, so it ain't my fault. Just call me a New York redneck. Ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. Finna bet on some horses at the track. Drive into Brooklyn, ain't never coming back. Tim's on the ground in the concrete jungle. I might get into a little rumble. Ain't nothing but a high-tailing man. Bred on the farm, so I work with my hands. Just call me a New York redneck.
All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 11 of the Sportsman Dan Show. It's Valentine's Day today. Recording around 11 a.m. here on February 14th, 2026. So if you do have someone special in your life, now's a good day to spoil them a little bit. And if not, maybe take care of yourself. Spoil yourself with we're card people, right? Go get a little Mega or a blaster to rip, maybe. Maybe not a hobby box, but, a couple packs to rip. Go outside. The sun is shining. I plan on doing that here shortly. But I'm going to talk some cards because I do have a minute. I went over to a Pokemon Show this morning. And I know this is a sports card podcast, but I think a lot of people who are into sports cards are also into Pokemon. I grew up playing Pokemon and all that, but I don't flip Pokemon cards. I don't sell Pokemon cards. But my older brother, he's a big Pokemon guy. Big time Pokemon guy, not a sport guy. Anyway, he gave me some of his cards to try to sell. They all got PSA 6. I'll show them to you real quick. And Arcanine, 2006 Pokemon Hollow. You can actually see there's a swirl in the bottom right. Will be extremely hard to see, actually. But I'm asking $250 for this. Okay? A 2000 Pokemon Rocket Dark Charizard Hollow. Again, PSA 6. Asking $200, which if you look at the market, I think that's the last sold is $198, and it's trending up. And then a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Misty's Gyarados Hollow PSA 6 as well. Asking $100 there. I think last sold was like 98 or 97, but then the one before that I think was like 80 something. So I understand that's a tough sell. I was honestly willing to probably take like 75 on the Gyarados. Definitely holding at $250 on the Arcanine because there was a $280 sale there. And then the Dark Charizard $200 is more than fair, but would take maybe like $190. Again, not a Pokemon guy, sports card guy, but I have not tried to like sell cards at a show before. So I was like, yeah, we'll go see how it goes. I was blown away at, the first offer came in and I was like, wow. I think I said oof. I went oof. And I get it. I don't want any drama. I sell cards too. I understand margins. But I literally was walking away like, am I pricing wrong as a vendor? I mean, am I not being cutthroat enough? And I think when I think back, like, no, I believe I'm doing it the right way. Not that anyone's doing it the wrong way, because there's a reason why dealers have to. What I felt like was a lowball maybe really isn't. Like $160 offer on a Dark Charizard. They need margin. They're assuming risk, like I do when I take on sports cards, right? They have the table fees. They're sitting on inventory. The show just started, so I get it. Some guys, they have the big buying sign. And they're like, I'm not buying right now. I was like, okay, I came over because of that sign. But I understand that, cash today is king, right? Sale later, not so much. So $160 on the Dark Charizard, that's a fair offer. Am I going to take it? Hell no. I'm going to be patient with these, especially because they're my older brothers, selling for him. But I was a little bit surprised because, I guess I do offer pretty strong on stuff that I like when it comes into my table. But I always try to be fair. Like, I never really offer 50% unless it's stuff that I know I can't move. And these are vintage Pokemon. I felt like these are pretty liquid. I'm learning. And some of you guys can let me know in the comments if those 3 cards I mentioned, a Dark Charizard, a Arcanine, and a Misty's Gyarados, are not as liquid as I believe. I know the Misty's Gyarados probably is not, but that Arcanine looks pretty liquid. So, that was a little bit, again, Pokemon, but it's the same thing on sports cards, right? Like, I guess I hadn't been on that side of the table in a little while. Because most of the time on that side of the table, I'm buying, I don't really go to tables to sell. But I was like, okay, Pokemon, 3 cards, they're slabs. This should be easy. And it's not. Because I get it. I'm expecting market value and I'm going up to a table. You're not going to get that. I thought I would get a little closer. I'll be honest with you. I thought I'd be able to get a little closer. But I'll be patient. And I think my best bet is just, I'm about to start putting some Pokemon in my showcase. I guess that's the end here. I'm still going to be 98% sports cards. You might see 2% Pokemon in the future. If it grows to 5%, then we'll talk. But for now, we're going to keep it at that 2%. I guess going back to my side and how my strategy for buying, because we want to selling, right? I try to price at 100%, like at market price, and people are going to come in offering 80, 90%, and right around the 90% point is where I make most of my sales. And with my margins, 90% lets me go home happy, pay for my fees, make a little bit of profit. Nothing crazy for really liquid stuff and stuff that I think is trending up. I will stick to that 100%. But for the most part, I live in the 90% world. Now, buying, it gets tough with these comps. It becomes a comp game a lot. But I shoot for 70%. Now, everyone says last sold. I don't know what last sold is anymore. I'm not sure quite what that is because I can see something has a last sold of a certain price and somehow everyone else is coming up with it. Not everyone else, but I think vendors know what I'm talking about here. That last sold doesn't mean a whole lot to me anymore unless the last sold before the last sold, right, is in like September or July. If there's not a lot of comps, I guess that last sold holds a lot more weight. But it's one sale off 130 point. You got to be careful with this comp game. Condition as well. We just look at comps. No one cares about condition. Well, last sold was this, and this one did 40. Like, well, yeah, that one's creased in the middle. So, right, I try to, buying wide, it just becomes, I think, even more difficult on the comp game. When you're selling, at least you can be like, hey, that's my end goal, right? 90%, that's the lowest I'm going to go, take it or leave it. On the buying side, you don't have that luxury, I guess. You can walk away, and I heard the Ball Card Show talk about it. If you really want a card and you can't meet somewhere, just walk away and see if maybe they'll be like, hey, actually I will take that offer. Because you have the luxury as the buyer to walk around and spend your money somewhere else. So give them a cash offer, and if they don't like it, I would encourage people to take a lap. Now, don't do that to me. Just pay the full price. I'm joking. But, right, that's a good little strategy to do on the buying side when you're not set up. Like I said, buying as a vendor, I don't have any tips or tricks, really. I'm still learning that side. I'm not going to act like an expert. I'll share sort of as I learn and as I go along. I guess my only takeaway from, I guess, this morning, like, I don't take low offers personally because at 160 for that Dark Charizard, I'm like, dude, you're getting $40 margin here. You're going to flip this card today, in my opinion. I could be wrong. So I'm not going to take that personally. I'm not going to be mad that I got a 160 offer and a $200 card. I totally understand where the guy's coming from. And like I touched on, after I kind of marinated on it, that's a pretty fair offer from him. And maybe I'll walk back and take that 160 offer. I'm not, but again, it was a nice interaction. And I think that's how it should go for most people. And I do believe that is, how most of these transactions go. Excuse me. I did kind of the oof a couple times. I was just like, whoa, is that 80%? Okay, I guess it is, but oof. Be willing to walk. If you're selling at shows, leave emotions at home. I try to do that. I'm not going to put anything in my showcase that I'm like attached to. And if you see, right, if you're buying and you see a vendor just really flipping through your stack, really looking at it, like, oh no, man. That always makes me nervous. And then this is a weird one, but like if you're too nice, you'll feel it. Like everyone, I've been burned on a couple sob stories. I still think most people are good, right? Like I'm not. Most people don't steal. Some people do steal. Most people are honest. Some people lie about their sob story. So I'm a little careful about that. Overall, I would say that's the only like takeaway I have for this episode. I'm going a little bit more freeform. In the past, I've been a little more structured with the notes, but hey, this is a surprise Valentine's Day episode, so we're gonna go a little more, daily rant, Cage style. But no, seriously, it was really good for me, I think, perspective-wise, just to get on the other side of the table, because now I think I'm gonna be a little bit more, motivated and confident in myself as a seller, knowing I've put in a lot of work. And I comp all this stuff out, and I know the trends for a lot of those cards. So I need, stick by my comps, stick by my stickers. And that was a good experience. I encourage other people, if you've been behind the table too long, go to a show and just walk around.
Well, I just realized that for that first 11 minutes, I was not using my mic that I have here. I was just going straight out of the laptop. So hopefully that audio is not too terrible. My last sort of segment I want to touch on here is, as I kind of rambled about for the last 11 minutes, am I running a hobby table or am I running a business? And there is a difference. I'm not running this to pay the bills. And I understand those who are got to live by the margin game a little closer. So I guess for me, it's just more of an advantage. It is more of a hobby table for me. Yes, I am trying to make a profit. Yes, I'm going to shows to make money, to make profit. Or to buy cards at a margin that allows me to make profit. However, at the end of the day, it really is a hobby, so I can talk sports cards. Pokemon, if I would have invested in Pokemon 2 years ago and not gone the sports card route, I would have saw much greater returns. But I like Pokemon, but I don't like talking about Pokemon like I do sports. It is not my passion. I want to have fun doing that. And I genuinely have fun selling sports cards. And I have fun using this microphone when it's actually, I just had to click the setting that it's plugged into. A little upset at myself for that. But hopefully that audio came through fine. And I'll be back with another episode soon. Should have episode 12 coming up. And with that, some really cool interviews are scheduled. So anyone who's been listening thus far, I really appreciate it. Man, getting real technical today. I might do these freeform a little more. I'm not sure. When I listen back, I don't know if sometimes when I'm too structured, I feel like I'm just reading a script. So I'll probably keep some structure. I'm going to start some recurring segments here once I find some good ones. But at the end of the day, it's going to be sports card related, hobby related content, which is what I love. So if you did enjoy it, like, subscribe, the classic. It really does mean a lot. And we're on Spotify as well. So if you're looking to listen on the go, you can check us out there. So appreciate everybody listening, and happy Valentine's Day.